Kapa Hawaiian FM 100.3, 99.1, and online at kaparadio.com. Also with BigIslandNow.com and Pacific Media Group. Kaya with you today. I have the opportunity to do one of our community interviews, which I love to do and showcase. And with me today is Nikki with the Maʻi Movement. Now, you heard me talk about it on the radio this week and probably sparked your ear a little bit about what this is all about. You know, Nikki, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on the show today to talk about what my sisters and I are doing. So, before I jump in, let me just explain what is period poverty. And that's really when, people can't get pads or tampons because they don't have enough money, they feel shame, they didn't get education, or, they don't have any clean facilities to malama their maʻi. And so, my sisters and I, we grew up in Waimanalo, and, we saw really firsthand the struggles of family members and friends, like, trying to survive, make ends meet, working, multiple jobs. And, I had first learned about period poverty when I was traveling overseas, about women in Africa 3 years ago. Well, fast forward, that was something that always stayed with me, and I wanted to do something about. And my sister Brandy, who works for Native Hawaiian Health, she called me up and she goes, "Hey sis, remember, what you were talking about before? Let's do this in Hawaii." And, it was just that moment where, that phone call just sparked everything. We got our little sister, Jamie, who was on Oahu, also involved. And, that's where Maʻi Movement just, came to life. We saw people were hurting and there was a need. People are struggling with housing, with food. And we know with periods, that's definitely one of those silent assassins. People are struggling, but nobody is talking about it.
Nikki, it was interesting. I'm going to be truthful. Yeah. When I read your email, when I first was introduced to you, I thought to myself, I had to read them twice because I know what food poverty is. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. And I had to sit back and read it again. And I thought, like, connect the dots. I went, okay, well, if the families that I'm servicing with food need food, it is obvious that some of these families will need this. And for someone, and I have to say, for somebody who's pretty involved in my community, it wasn't in my radar. And so when sister and I first talked about it, when I shared this with her, she was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, wait, what?" Because that's the first thing you hear, right? Is it, well, we don't see Maʻi, wait, what, like what? And then I started to think back, I started, like you were saying, your personal experiences. And I went, I remember being in high school and hoping as one young woman that it never happened in high school, because what if I didn't have what I needed? And then the shame that came along with that. And then I used to then it clicked, like all these memories came back of, oh, I remember when my friend and so didn't have it. And then the health room was closed. And then A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yep.
And so it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Outside of your passion with your sisters, you folks are really doing some, I would say, moving this forward at different levels. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, when we sat down and we said, okay, this is what we want to do. The first thing we said, okay, our mission is, we want to end period poverty in Hawaii. That's the long-term goal. We don't want anyone to have to think, twice about how they're going to malama their maʻi. And so we said, okay, how do we tackle this, right? So we said service, and service meaning, how can we provide? How can we get, period products out to people? And because, that's the immediate need, right? You get your maʻi for what, 35 years, every single month. So we said, we got to take care of right now. Then we said, okay, but, we can't just give, because that's not going to solve the problem. So how do we then advocate? And so we said, okay, we need to make systemic changes in the community, in the government. And, government meaning pushing bills and, trying to get legislators to recognize this problem. And, I'm actually really excited because Senator Ocasio just introduced a bill, SB 966, to get free period products in public secondary schools. So yay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, Nikki, I'm just going to pause right here for a minute for all of you who are listening on air and, of course, watching this Zoom video, this interview. Nikki, I'm going to ask you for a website. Is there a website that people can actually get on?
Yes. So, there are two ways to, really push this bill because, my titas and I, we are not from the nonprofit world. We're not from the government world, but we were just inspired to take action. So, we're also learning along the way,
Yeah.
with everyone. But, one thing is we're putting a petition together, trying to get all the districts, get everybody signed up to say, why this needs to be uh, heard and passed. And another thing is, we encourage people, call up your local senators, tell them you want SB 966 to be heard, so that, the different committees that make all these decisions, will know like, okay, this is important to the people. So you can either go on our website, maimovement.org/advocate to, sign our petition, or you can just go on, the Capital Hawaii government website, make your own testimony and put it out there.
Awesome, Nikki. Awesome. And again, you guys heard that right here on Kapa Hawaiian FM. All right, continuing on with our interview here with Nikki. I'd like to continue. We always have this chance to share just a snippet on air, and then we can, for those of you that are continuing to watch it right now on our Kappa Zoom page, and of course on every other platform. Nikki, when you talk about, I was talking to you early off camera about, many of us like myself who want to contribute. So we do the get online and we can do the petition, but we want to take action. So what would you recommend for somebody like myself that maybe wants to do a drive?
So absolutely, everybody can, get involved in their own ways, COVID, even though it's kept people apart, everyone can get active, whether it's you're by yourself at home or like our halaus, they have held their own drives with their own hamana. And so, we can give you a list of, the things that go into our monthly care kits that we then distribute out, to different organizations or to individuals. We also have this DIY care kit where, we tell you what goes into it. And if, you're just at home and you're by yourself, you want to put care kits to us, together for us, you can do that and you can send it to us. We have our registry where you can buy, products, and it goes directly to my sister Brandy, who's in Honoka'a, or also on Oahu.
Wow. Okay, you guys got it covered.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, doing your work during this time, pushing it through the legislature and doing all these different things, what is the one thing that stands out to you the most now that you've, spent more time outside of your first experience till today? What is the one thing that sticks with you through this journey?
It's been a really interesting experience. I'm a woman, I'm, mother, sister, auntie, but, I have an 11-year-old daughter and, she is going through puberty. She's going to kill me for saying this,
Yeah.
but, she hadn't gotten her Maʻi yet. And, she always reminds me, how awkward and scary that stage is. Because, once you grow up, you realize it's totally normal. And, that when I think about, the students that have to pay a quarter and, they're being restricted from participating in schools, women are having to decide, do I feed my child or do I buy period products, even soap. And so, that just really rocks me to my core and keeps us going. And, like I said, I had read about this about women in Africa. And, at that time I was like, oh, that's a third world problem and, we have to help. But, now as I'm hearing the stories, across all the islands, I know it's happening in my backyard. We want people to speak up, and we want to be a resource for the community.
Awesome. Can you tell us where you're going to be on Hawaii Island? I know you guys have some outreaches happening very soon.
Yeah, so my sister Brandy, she was she just did a drive last weekend. In Hilo, she's going to be at Halekiki Market on February 13th. Another thing that we're also, launching, this is our pilot program to get sustainable products, because that is one way, to tackle period poverty and also just, provide that education. So Konawaina is one school that, we're piloting that program where, we're giving students education that is, locally inspired and also gender inclusive. And then, once they go through that, then, they can get a free reusable product. So they learn to malama their ma'i, it's financially better, good for their bodies and good for the earth.
Wow. Never had that when we was growing up.
I know. I was like, oh, I like join too.
I know. Like, sign me up. Wait, what? Sign me up. Vicky, it's such a pleasure and congratulations to you and your sisters. I look forward to meeting Brandy when she comes to the Halekiki Market. I know personally on behalf of our community, we're excited to be able to learn more, educate the masses, and be able to perhaps do a drive to support your efforts. And on behalf of Kapa Hawaiian FM, Jazz and myself, mahalo nui for your good work in our community and our Hawaii Pai'aina.
Oh, mahalo. Thank you so much.